All right. Welcome to the Dragon's Tome, episode 64. I am your host, Chopper, and I am joined with my two colleagues, who I will let them introduce themselves because I seem to always interrupt them.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Jack.
See, you thought I was going to interrupt you. I didn't do it.
I was
I
giving you the
didn't want to be
opportunity.
last
I
that
wanted
time.
to. If you
I
were
like being
going to be a
last.
lovable scamp,
And we are on episode 64, or sorry, issue 64. Dragon Magazine. Ironically, on issue 64, there happens to be a dragon.
I thought you were going to say something about Nintendo 64.
No, but this dragon looks very stoned to me.
he's looking at his fingers, wondering how they are just hand toes.
And I don't know if this girl is feeding him
Yeah, I think she's
like
giving him some drugs.
gummy gems.
Makes sense.
These are like 250 milligrams. Is that what's going on?
Do you know who did
Just look
this
at-
cover? Do you know who the
before-
artist is?
Before we get there, I just want to point out, look how dilated this dragon's eyes are.
Mm-hmm.
He's on drugs. He's not looking at her. He's looking into space. The artiste is Tim Hildebrandt, famous Tim Hildebrandt.
Oh,
Oh,
Tim,
So
good job.
I
I wonder if
I think compared
What-
to his normal work, this isn't that good of a job. It's amazing, but it's usually he's a really good artist. So he
he
doesn't
might have
usually
been,
do stone dragons.
or maybe he was a little high himself because
That's
look at
true.
this thing.
That's
Maybe this is
it
like
might have been the point. Yeah.
Maybe this is a self portrait. Like I feel like a dragon today.
And his one finger's just like pointing. It's like,
Yeah.
but you don't know. Maybe he was commissioned and he was like, okay, I got to do this in a certain time. You don't know, or maybe this was this was his vision and he did it. And Dragon Magazine can take it or leave it.
they're probably, or he's like, he had a cover from that was rejected from some book. And they're like, hey, can you draw us a dragon? He's like,
Yeah,
man,
I mean,
I could do it. Here you
but
go. It's some
let's just-
rejected cover.
Let's just go ahead and say it. Even Tim Hildebrandt worst drawings.
Oh no,
are
that's what I
still
said. This is
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying, up to his usual standard, maybe not.
Yeah, but I just love how stoned this dragon is.
It's kind of a fairy dragon. Look at his ears.
I mean, it's got all the thing. It's got the one hand doing its own thing,
Yeah.
and then the eyes like he's manipulating a planet in his other hand.
Yep.
And this girl is here's like, here, you need to eat this. You haven't eaten in 3 days.
She's like, dude, you got to come down. This will bring you back. It's true. Drug dragon, we should have called it.
All right.
It's actually a bronze dragon, if you're wondering.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I thought it might have been a gem dragon.
It's a bronze dragon, as the description says. So.
Oh. All right.
So,
Well then,
it's a good dragon.
Mr. Harper, would you like to lead us off with the Dragon Rumbles then, please?
Dragon Rumbles. Remember back when we said TSR about SPI?
Yes.
Yes.
It didn't happen because
Oh no.
SBI collapsed, and TSR took their properties at the debt, but they didn't buy them because if they bought them, they'd have all their dets, right? We didn't buy them. We just took what was ours, what was owed. We didn't buy them. Did I say we bought them? We didn't buy them. I looked into this more because I was interested because this didn't sound right. This sounded a little shady happening here. So I looked into it. SBI collapsed and TSR took their properties, but not the debt. SBI staff went to form a new company, which ended up being Victory Games, which is under Avalon Hill. Victory Games, it's pretty famous. Like, they made quite a few board games after this. A lot of historicals, which SBI is known for. And then I looked on the wiki about this whole situation, and it's very interesting. The real background, I guess TSR gave SPI a loan to pay off all the debts they owed, because they had a lot of debts. And they had a lot of creditors. But the moment they paid off all their creditors, so that the only person they owed money to was TSR, TSR was like, okay, we need that money back from the loan now. They just foreclosed on the loan instantly. And they're like, you obviously know we don't have the money for this. And so then they're like, okay, just give her everything you own then. So TSR took everything from them and shut them down pretty much. And they said they're going to publish stuff from them and continue publishing, which I guess they did for a little bit and didn't. They also say in this Dragon Rumbles that they're going to honor all their subscriptions for the magazines that SPI makes, and I guess that never happened. They just did not honor anything because that was considered debt. Once again, so they're like, no, we can't do that. That's against the thing. So there's a lot of backbiting by TSR here, and they pretty much
Well, there's a
destroyed
lot. There's
SPI.
the bankruptcy rules are very, very, very clear what you can and can't do. If you do something, then you have to take
Well,
on the debt of the
it wasn't the
company.
point. It was the point that they gave him a loan and then foreclosed on the loan instantly. Like
Yeah.
that's the shady dealings. They knew what they were doing. They purposely.
Well, SPI did, yeah, but
No,
unfortunately,
TSR did. TSR knew what they were doing. SBI thought, hey, TSR's being nice to us. No, they weren't. They were an evil corporation.
but they foreclosed on the loan, is what you're saying?
TSR loaned them
Oh,
money and then foreclosed
Yeah.
on the loan instantly. So they had to. They
got
wanted
it.
to be the only creditor. That's the key. They wanted them to be able
Got
to
it.
pay off all the other creditors, so everything went to them. That's why they did it. Shady. That's what I have to say. But this,
Oh,
this,
what goes around comes around.
yeah, that's kind of funny. But Dragon
We
Rumbles,
know.
Wizard of the Coast is like, oh, that's how you do it. Dragon Rumbles makes it so to be, oh no, it was just a mistake, and no, it's all good. Don't worry, SPI. But no, they're evil. So yeah, I just for once I wanted to look into the background because I smelt something here. This isn't the truth that I'm reading in this Dragon Rumbles. So I was right. So it's just like Jack says, it's interesting what goes around comes around, and in about 5 years maybe things tables turn. So anyways, that is Dragon Rumbles. Pat, you're the host.
Oh, well then.
Pat, you're the host.
Hey,
I thought
wake
you,
up!
I was
Wake up!
I was reading Dragon Rumble's parts a little more in depth
It's,
because I don't read them because
read the
you,
wiki. Go to SPI versus TSR wiki. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Because I automatically skip the Dragon Rumble since you're going to cover it.
But it was an interesting one for once. I like when there's something in the like a few issues ago that comes back around. Oh, we didn't buy them, even though we put out a huge press release saying we bought them.
Exactly. All right, Jack, what do you got going on?
Speaking of saying one thing and then retracting it immediately, we're going to go to page 8.
Yes, I had this one too. This is another one that's kind of funny. It's like
New weapons from another great mind. So, Rob, you and I can turn this into the Eiffel Tower. We can double team this one. Gary Gygax says, "Hey, remember that article we did
Gary.
just a couple?
Remember that guy who made all those cool weapons? Yeah, that wasn't real.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I had just invented all those same weapons,
idea.
and they're going into one of my books. So this is how it's going to go.
Coincidentally, it was exactly the same weapons that he thought of. Coincidentally,
but not exactly the same, because then he goes ahead and says, "Yeah, but what was that with the Far Eastern weapons? Get them." Get them out. One day, if someone who speaks English and Japanese wants to volunteer to come and
I'm
talk
just
to
going to
me
eventually
about
just
something,
do it. Make Oriental
yeah,
legends.
but they don't belong. They don't belong in this game. So out they go. I wish he brought something new and spectacular. I'm not going to go back and cross reference the tables to see if he changed damages or anything.
Yeah, I assume he tweaked stuff, but I'm amazed at like how similar these lists were. I was like,
But
although we
like
did Albert Falchion. Falchion was the one that wasn't on the other guy's list. I don't think.
Falchion's in the player's handbook, isn't it?
But the Kopesh was, which is just a Falchion turned the other way. Like it's
no, Kopesh is in here too, so I don't think it was. So both those weapons are in here. So.
But it was in the other guys as well.
Yeah. But I'm saying it wasn't in first edition. This is all stuff he's gonna add.
Oh, I get you. I'm saying
Oh no, a lot of this it's like a lesser version of what the other guy did.
It was like, I'm running out of time robbing that other article. I'll just ignore all the things from the long and short of it is, without getting too deep in the weeds, this is just the same article. Gary Gygax has licked it, stamp it. It's now his, and it's probably going to go into some other book.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this. I assume it makes it into Unearthed Arcana. I don't remember it being extra weapons in there, but I assume it eventually makes it in second edition, at very least, because all these weapons are in second edition. So, but yeah, I was also like, oh, I love at the beginning. Yeah, great minds think alike, right? Yeah, just coincidentally.
I too was reminiscing about the Atlatl.
Yeah, that's funny. We have very similar lists. Yeah.
Yeah, it just happened.
Coincidental. And what's the other guy going to say? No, you stole it from me. Gary Gygax, inventor of the game I play? No, he's probably like, yeah you're right. I stole it from you ahead of time. Somehow.
Yeah, I stole it from you as he's pushing him in his chest. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I'm the king.
You can't stop me. Okay.
Well, the one thing I do see that is missing is the three sections staff.
It's none of the Oriental Adventures ones.
Yeah, nothing from the Far East. Nothing from he was choosy in what he pilfered.
Yeah.
No chakram either.
Nope.
Yeah, that's right. Xena would be upset.
Yeah, she would.
Her chakras would not be aligned.
She would have to cry on Gabriel's shoulders.
All right.
Muscular shoulders.
Again, Gary flexes his muscles.
Yes, he flexed on some.
I thought he said he fucks his muscles. I was like,
Is that flexes his muscles.
I never heard that saying before.
In Chicago, you can't shake a stick without hearing someone say that.
That's true.
All
right.
I want ketchup on my hot dog. Oh. You just fucked the muscles.
You fucked my muscles, motherfucker.
All right, so moving on. I'm going to go to page 39.
You do that.
Planet Buster.
Planet Busters. Tom Wham. Jim Ward. Jim Ward. Big fan of Jim Ward. Wrote Pool of Radiance video games. All the gold boxes.
Game of World.
Yep. Big fan of Jim Ward. Tom Wham's all right, but we're not big fans of Snit fans.
Oh,
we're not Snit fans.
Oh, he's the Snit guy.
Tom Wham is the Snit guy.
He does love his little chit games. That's another little chit game.
Yeah, these are all chit games in these games for the longest time.
And his art style, you can't. Once you see it, it's like
these are all ships though, instead of little.
Yeah, but we did play this game. Me and my friends did. So
oh yeah.
It was a nice little fun little game. You just pick pieces. Basically, the long and short of it is you cut all the pieces out, you put them in the middle, you draw, and then you add them to your quote-unquote sphere of influence, which is basically your hand. And then once you do that, you pick your opponent and you attack them. And then you roll the dice. Basically, 1 always hits, 10 always misses. The modifiers, depending on which ships you're attacking with, there's a ton of ships.
I do appreciate they use a 10-sided die as their choice. Like this early on, so you expect to be able to have 10-sided dice.
But the long and short of it, that is, and you keep going until you keep playing until someone draws the peace treaty card, and then the game ends. You can take planets from your other people and stuff like that.
It sounds like a classic early fighting game.
Yeah, it's very, very beer and pretzel, very easy. We enjoyed it as youngins, as 12-year-olds.
Well, that's good.
It's pretty long. Like for a beer pencil game, it's like 4 pages or 5 pages
of rules. But when you get down to it, the gameplay, it's super simple.
Yeah. Planet Busters. Years before Ghostbusters, and it's a similar font.
It's true, but again, now this is where I start to play more of the games that are coming into these Dragon magazines.
Because you're young and desperate for new entertainment?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's hard to say because still living in the city, we did a lot of things outside, but
we won't.
It was always good. It was always good to play. It was always good when you got something free from Dragon. At this point, and you're 12.
Yeah, you're not going to get in your car and drive down to the game store and pick up something. You got
came in the mail.
This is going to scratch an itch.
Yeah. So, all right, Rob, what are you going to go next?
I don't have much, but I just want to do another featured creatures that Jack was making fun of. These are the Planetar and the Solar. I remember these guys too. It's on page 12.
Page 12.
Is this one of yours, Jack, too?
No, why would it be? Why would I follow up after saying I was going to do a thing about the features? And I know revenge.
Jack.
I know revenge.
All I got to say is that the article is called Featured Creatures, like creature feature.
Well, I call it the creatures featured in the featured creature, which was the bit I started when I said I was going to do these. But lo and behold, my life is forfeit. Yes,
Sorry, I had something in my throat.
I have been slain, and the dagger is in the bloody hands of
Jack,
my
I
friend
actually had
Rob.
no articles, and I had nothing to talk about, so you can take this one completely, because I have nothing to say about this.
Yeah, no, it's just more of the same, except for I recognized one the Solar. I recognize, I think, the name and the artwork for.
Yeah.
So I think
Isn't he
of
like
Gary Gygax.
Aren't these Plantar in the Fiend Folio?
Yeah, both of them. Not in the. No, they're not in the. They're later ones, but they are. I remember these guys, but they are. Because I remember the names were very unique. So.
Yes. So.
But yeah, it's just Gygax throwing some more angels out there, because you know what we need in the game? More angels for some reason.
When you're going from plane to plane, as every game group does without air, you need to.
So this time, these are the archangels. The other ones are the angels. That's the only difference.
Yes.
But he doesn't want to have religious connotations, so he has to make new names for them.
Exactly.
The first one's Michael. The second one's Gabriel.
Or
vice versa. I think it's actually vice versa.
I think there was one of the other ones reminded me of Gabriel a couple weeks ago, but long and short of it is, they're just much more powerful deities in which you could get into combat with if you wanted to.
I guess if you're going to some plane, the
and
upper outer planes, if you
end
up in the upper outer planes and you happen to be evil characters, you can get destroyed by these guys.
That's true. All right. Rob, you don't have any more then.
Points. This was mine.
So
I'm done. I'm tapped out. I got tons of ads, though. Come back to me for ads.
Jack, you got something else you want to add to this, or?
I'm done with this article, and in fact, I'm down to ads as well. So
all right. Well, I got two more to go then.
Oh,
it's
okay.
The Pat Show.
Let's go to 63.
63. Why gamers?
Okay.
Yeah. This was a nice little article about going to conventions. You know, it talks about the birthplace of the fan. It's models of superior play.
It's just about how to be better as a person.
Yeah, it just all the different things that you will see at a convention. You can see new styles, how people play, new games, or get introduced to familiar games. I mean, the introduction to familiar games is always a bonus, because just walking to the dealer hall, when there's no, you're like, hey, what's that? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that.
Gen Con has gotten to the point where it's hard to do that now because it's so big, but it's still, things catch your eye and you're like, oh, what's this? Like, remember those bags from last Gen Con? They were real cool. They're like, they're bags, but they had like little plates you could like Velcro onto them with different like symbols and stuff, like license stuff. It was very cool.
Yeah, backpacks. Yeah. And then if you
I would never known about those here, if I hadn't walked around.
Oh yeah, I saw those at C2E2. But then still a convention, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Stimulating new ideas is again, Gen Con or any of the new ones now. In the 80s, probably it was more spread out, but now at Gen Con they give you the Entrepreneur's Alley where they condense them all into one place.
Even Artist Alley, like I love going through Artist Alley. You just see some of the stuff people are doing. You're like, wow, like this is.
Yeah,
you'd never be exposed to that in real life.
This is nice little article, gives you all kinds of little tidbits as why you should go to a convention.
Yeah, I've never gone as a well, not to something big as a player. We went to conventions back in the day, and that's all we did was just as players. Although Exhibition Hall was also awesome too, because especially back then, stuff was so cheap. Like there's so much stuff I think of like we've passed up that we could have.
Yeah. But we were,
cheap,
in our
poor,
late teens, early 20s, living on our own. We didn't have the.
I think I was still in high school when we started going. For sure.
The funds to purchase the things, but when you think back and go, oh,
yeah,
that was like.
But I did purchase. I remember I always find the bundles. I loved like whole game systems in a bundle. Like I got all the DC game in a huge bundle with all like the expansions and all the who's who kind of stuff, and I still have that. I love those. Just finding random stuff. It would be like because at the time it was like you can make one purchase because that's all the money you had. it'd be like, oh, $20 to get like everything that for the DC. I don't think we ever played. It's just I always wanted to. So
it's not about. Sometimes it's not about playing. It's just having the book to flip through. Yeah.
So let me just pose a question to you guys.
Oh.
As far as convention, and it's been a while, but
it's been
a while.
We were first introduced to each other in real life at Adepticon, which was probably your first giant miniature convention.
For sure.
Yes.
Did any of these things happen other than Superfan meeting?
Meeting you?
No. I mean just Superfan in general.
Our fans meeting us?
Yeah. Because you did have quite a bit. When you came to Mac Night, everyone was on the podcast. So.
I think they were more dismissive because that was like maybe it was early. No, I guess we've been doing it a few years, but
2014,
I believe, was the first convention of the first Adepticon we went to.
It's ancient history now, but we had people coming to see us.
But it also, the dealer hall was also seeing all those other games. Like you're like, oh, there's a lot of, and we were kind of overwhelmed by that, I think, by just the variety of stuff. And once again, we don't have any gaming stores around us even really, so just to see, like, to have that kind of experience as a gaming store, giant version, but it's pretty cool.
So
to look down the list, I'm making contacts. Yes, there's people to this day that I talk to that we're going to be going back to Adepticon to catch up with.
Family Gamer 777. Coach and Andrew at the time, he's, I don't know, a man now. I think he's out of college. At the time,
wasn't he 14?
No, he was, I think, even younger than that, because we played a game and he kicked my ass at this game. I'm like, there's this little shitty kid who's beating me up. And at the end, he hugged me and he was kind of like, oh, sorry for beating you up. But it was just so funny. But to this day, we know these people. We hang out with them online. We do shows with them. And like you say, we met you for the first time in person. We interviewed you before that and talked to you. But yeah, definitely contacts is a major one.
Yeah.
And it was
all of it holds true. Everything in this article holds
it's
true.
It's a very good article. That's why I enjoyed it, because I was like, this is exactly, someone actually wrote down it and kind of captured the essence of what going to a big, nice convention is.
To this day, yeah. It's universal truths, almost. Which is rare.
All right. So, and then my last article, we're going to go to page 71.
71.
Oh, I knew you'd pick this one because I know you're the Ogre man. Is this a review of Ogre, right?
So this is Ogre Roars Back in the Scene, the new version of Ogre. But as you read it, it's not a new version of Ogre. It's just a combining of two Ogre versions.
Yeah.
So the guy
the
makes it
Ogre
sound
was
like
a teeny little box, wasn't the original Ogre like real small?
And this adds I forget what the second edition was, but it adds the GEVs back.
Yeah.
And then puts them all into one box, one rule set. But the reason why I just bring this up is because the guy makes it sound like this is a brand new version.
All different.
You need to get into this, yeah. And I'm reading it, and basically he's just telling you these are all the same rules as Ogre, but now you've just put the GEVs in the box, and now the rules are in one book.
This is also Steve Jackson's on own now.
I think he even says, there's a line in here that says that the two games are essentially the same as their last metagaming incarnations when it comes to design.
But it's the Steve Jackson version because he's out on his own. He left metagaming to do this.
Yes.
So that's interesting. Because we were always wondering about that we're like, oh, Steve Jackson, but he's part of metagaming. We were like, well, what about Steve Jackson games? This is the beginning of Steve Jackson games right here. So
yeah. And that was my closing.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So, Ogre, still love it. Still a good game.
Well,
if you don't have it, get it on Steam.
If you don't have it, don't buy the giant box that's the size of a coffee table.
Yeah, you could bury a child in it. Just buy the Steam version and play it.
Jack, you went pretty close to burying children. That's all I'm saying. Are we sure we're the right guy here?
I don't know.
We were talking about lizard.
The true answer is burying hookers. That's always the answer, not children.
we were talking about dragon porn.
When?
We have in the past. Never. We have in the past. I will admit that has come up.
Not with me. I would not stand for that.
Okay.
No.
So moving on before we get censored. That's all my articles. You guys are doing articles.
Lots of ads.
I'm going to start. I'm going to start with an ad because
you just had 2 articles in a row.
I understand, but I'm the host.
Yeah, that is true.
He doesn't want Jack to steal his ad. That's why.
I don't want anyone to steal my ad.
Okay, let's go to page 2.
There you go.
That was everybody's first ad, anyways.
Star Frontiers. Yeah. Love this game.
Great cover.
Played it. I played it at the Gygax house on my little Lake Geneva outing with Jeff Leeson, the guy who's the curator and part owner of the Dungeon Museum in Lake Geneva. He's also the guy that co-wrote the Hidden Shrine of Tamao-chan. We had a good time. Still love Star Frontiers to this day. When I was we were playing Game World, but then when Star Frontiers came out, it became less apocalyptic and more sci-fi, and which is kind of more my deal, anyways.
This is like the pulp version of Traveller. Traveller is very hard sci-fi, where this is more fun sci-fi. This is Star Trek, or I mean Star Wars, not Star Trek. This is more
even though there is a Star Trek with FASA.
Yes.
And it's funny Rob mentioned D10s to play Planet Busters. It looks like it's a percentile game.
It is 100% percentile game.
And I played this. And looking back at the cover, like, look, the artwork's classic. Everything's classic about it. It's got the monkey race there that is now
the Yazarin.
Yeah, then now is verboten in today's society. But I remember playing Star Frontiers quite a few times and enjoying it.
And then it spawned
nothing. There, put it in front of your face.
Oh.
Pat, you have an ability to make things disappear. There it is.
Right there.
Nighthawks.
Which is the space fighter rule set for Star Frontiers. It's one of the first ones.
Yep.
And
what year is that?
This,
I'm sure we'll get to it, but
I don't see a date on here anywhere yet.
Yeah.
I'd have to go in the rule booklet. I don't want to open it up.
I assumed it would be on the back, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. I'm sure we'll see ads for that too. But
it'll show up.
Yes.
Yeah, Star Frontiers now.
1983.
There you go. Next year.
Ooh, there you go.
Now it's being rebooted by TSR that is not TSR and is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. It's already gotten huge strikes against it.
Yeah, and these people have.
And they're redoing the whole thing too.
Far, yeah.
And plus they're also redoing it, so it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, it's just like FASA had to do that with Interceptor. Same idea, where they have the name but they don't have the system, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've gotten rid of most of the races that were part of the original stuff. Like I think the bugs are gone too, as long with the Azarians.
But we won't talk about that. There's some controversy. So.
Yeah.
But Star Frontiers was my first ad, also.
All right. And Jack, what's your ad?
Oh, if we can just go down to page 82.
82. We're jumping down. Speaking of racist.
Oh, another Grenadier. More Grenadiers.
This was one of mine too, because I was like, ooh, this is that Noel? Noel in a business suit?
I
don't know what it's supposed to be, but I appreciate
orcs, goblins, and trolls. So it's got to be one of those three. So I would say it's a orc.
Yeah, it could be their version of orc, but I was just like, yeah, this is a little odd. It's kind of, and why is he wearing a suit instead of every other one has been in fantasy setting except for this one? It's odd.
If you can satire or spoof your own ads, then you're doing pretty good. And this is obviously mocking their own ad campaign with something that is obviously silly. Like,
yes. Because there is an asterisk.
Yeah. Well, the fourth researcher was eaten by, or was badly mauled. Eaten, and two were badly mauled. Anyways, yeah, it's an odd one. I'll give it that. I was like, what the what?
I wonder if Jeff knows who wore this mask. I should ask him.
Who wore the orc mask? in the Grenadier heads. But there you go. Enough of the Grenadier. We're enough to talk
silly ad.
Because it's the same models on the table still.
Yeah, for some reason they have like the same set that they just showed. I love the beholder with the
pink beholder.
That his all his tentacles or his eye stalks are like stuck to his head because they couldn't mold things away from it. So they're just like he looks like got some kind of perm.
All right, Rob, what is your article?
I believe it's on page 11.
Oh, son of a
Gravball by Fassa.
Gravball.
I was like, is this Dreadball? Like it looks just like Dreadball, but it's Fassa.
It's not like Dreadball, but it's Gravball.
But it looks like
and this is a Fassa game that I had, and it was more akin to Rollerball than anything else.
Yeah, you could tell that's what they're going for. It's is this their first game? Because they've done a lot of supplements, like doing.
I don't know if this is the first game.
I wonder if this is their first game. Yeah.
No, because I think they've done at this point they had done.
They have BattleTech at this time.
No, BattleTech was 84.
It was World War II historical. What was it called?
They definitely did a lot of supplements for Traveler. I remember that. But yeah.
What was it called?
The weird, yeah. Isn't that a Klingon symbol in the middle of the Fassa symbol?
Actually, no. The first game was Star Trek, the role-playing game.
Star Trek, really?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen ads for that, but yeah, this is
because that came out in '82, right around now.
So there you go. This same year. So Gravball, but I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm. This is also a game that I'm looking to replace.
You could. I've never even heard of this, so I'd be surprised. It'd be expensive, I'm sure.
Complete with all the miniatures and all the stuff.
I don't think there's miniatures. Was there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's 15 millimeter miniatures. That's odd. So while Pat looks up that, I'll go to my other ad. Or was this my ad? I can't remember.
Jeez.
My other ad is on page 51. And it's Villains and Vigilantes, another superhero game.
Yes.
I loved Villains and Vigilantes.
Yeah, this is one of the classic superhero games. And it's like we played Marvel probably the most, which is the TSR one, but this is probably one of the most famous ones because it was very popular. And,
yeah, well, it always caught our attention because it was an ad in the magazine.
Yeah, but it was one of the big ones, and yeah, I remember these fondly, these games. So superhero games were coming either. We got Champions, or no, we got Hero or Champions. Yeah, we got Champions. We got Villains, Vigilantes. I'm pretty sure Marvel Superheroes must be coming up pretty soon because
yes, it's got to be coming out soon.
Yeah, so it's the renaissance of superheroes. But that was my last ad, anyways.
Jack, do you have any ads?
No, that's it. That covers it.
All right. Well, this issue was a little bit tighter than the last one.
There's some stuff in this one. Yep.
Yeah.
They all have something. That's the beauty of Dragon Magazine.
I mean, actually, if we played Traveler, we could have been here longer because this whole robot thing looked intriguing to me.
And there's tons of stuff about, as always, about. Well, not so much in this one, but usually it's a lot of top secret stuff in the magazines. This one I don't think it has much top secret.
I played top secret, but not as much as that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some Traveler stuff. Well, Traveler is interesting because it's not a TSR game. That's probably the other game that's not TSR that gets the most attention in this. Is Traveler. There you go.
All right. Well then, guys.
We did it.
Good talk. Good chat. Good talk. Got a little bit of the role-playing games in. Got to reminisce about conventions.
Yes, we did.
We got to talk about this stoned ass dragon. Jesus, this thing is so high.
It's high.
All right. Well then, let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up and take it.
What's the name of that band? Who sang that song?
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's brother's band. I can't remember what they were called now. All right, that's going to kill me. So we're going to wrap it up.
Speaking of Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Where's he going with that?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, for the Dragon's Tome, I'm your host, Chopper.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Rob.
We'll see you guys next week. Like,
Butter?
bells, subscribe, whatever that is.
We'll be there with bells on.
Jumping through the hoops. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Fuck your muscles.